It's become our country's latest buzzword, and if you turn to any given news channel at any given time, you're guaranteed to hear it almost immediately. Foreclosure.
Yeah, the statistics on how many people are being forced into foreclosure this year alone are staggering. But the truth is, most of us are not that well informed about our options to either avoid or properly deal with foreclosure. And author Shari Olefson is here today to remedy all that. You're going to put us in the know, Shari. You're saying in your book that it's a lot of psychology involved here. When people, because calling your lender can be intimidating, and nowadays it can be pretty almost impossible to get a hold of an actual human being on the other end.
You know what? It really is. And it's tough out there. I mean, even those of us who don't know, who aren't actually in foreclosure, we all know someone who is. We were just talking about that. 9,000 people a day are losing their homes.
Wow.
That's enough to fill up the Raymond James Center in a week. It's a lot of people. Not only residential, but also at Fowler White Boggs, we're representing a lot of really smart shopping center owners and resort owners and commercial property owners. So yes, you're right. The first thing that homeowners need to remember is don't panic, because there are tons of people in the same situation, and this is not your father's foreclosure with the same kind of stigmas and the negativity that went along with it. At the end of the day, 5 million people are going to be in that situation.
Wow.
So when you hear foreclosure, obviously the first thing that you want to do is panic. You don't. So what do you do next? I mean, what is the next step? And is it the only option? If somebody says, well, it looks like you're going to be facing foreclosure, are there other options for people?
Absolutely. And you know what? The number one thing, call your lender. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to who don't call your lender. And I ask, did you call them? And the first question is, why should I call them? I mean, what you have with your lender is called a relationship. It's no different than your relationship with your husband or your wife. And in order for it to work, you need to have communication. How else are they going to know that you're planning on trying to make something work if you don't call them?
Well, and it also depends on exactly who your lender is, too, because, again, as you pointed out, if you're financed through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac,
you have an option.
There are different programs that are now available, correct?
You got it. You got it. And, you know, that's the second reason you want to call them, because step 2 really is to get facts. And if you go to the website, foreclosurenationthebook.com, we've got a whole list of the questions that you want to ask your lender. Number 1 on the list is, who owns or guarantees my mortgage? Because if it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, guess what? You've got all kinds of new Obama-initiated bailout options available to you.
So I guess at this point, this is a prominent problem here in the Bay Area. How many people are actually addressing it correctly, and how many are just sitting back, small, worried, fearful, and just taking it as it comes?
Well, we're in like a little bit of a holding period right now. I mentioned, you know, the Obama affordable home. We had the modification and the refinance plans that came out about a month ago, and there were a slew of calls to the banks. What most banks will tell you now is, we're not ready to get that set up yet. Okay. Call us again in about 3 months. So people are doing that. They are gathering the information. Another thing you can be doing in the meantime is a lot of self-assessment, because guess what? We've got now what I call the Great American do-over. We have a second chance to get it right this time. So you're going to be able to try to modify or refinance your home, but I don't know if you're going to have another chance after that. So you really need to think hard, what is it that got me in this situation? Is it something that was temporary or permanent? Am I going to be able to fix this? And once you know what you need to do in terms of an end game, you can start getting on the road towards that direction. A lot of people are calling for help. If you can afford an attorney, that's a great alternative. Obviously, for our commercial real estate owners that we represent, you need to have an attorney, because there are all kinds of complicated tax and bankruptcy implications with these REMIC trusts. But a homeowner who can afford an attorney should pay anywhere from $500 to maybe $2,000 for those services. There are not-for-profits out there that are looking to help. If in the book, we actually have a whole list of these not-for-profit organizations and the things that you want to look out for in case, you know, the red flags of fraud, and you hear a lot of this predatory lending.
So, and again, when you're talking about self-assessing, it's not just self-assessing your mortgage or where you went wrong in regard to that. You're saying, look at all your finances,
how you live your life in general.
Look at your life and
this home.
And see what else is there.
You know that Americans last year, we spent $800 billion more than we made. That's crazy. That's a crazy number.
Wow.
So you really got to figure out long-term, short-term, is this a good place for me to be?
Hey, talk about was it the grandparents' 3 golden rules? I mean, once you get everything straightened out, what are is it 3 golden rules?
I'm so glad you asked that, Jerome, because you know what, the whole point of the book really is to get us all thinking about more in terms of the way our grandparents lived their financial lives. And the golden rules really are: educate yourself, before you make a major financial decision. Be careful who you trust. And at the end of the day, remember, your personal finances are still your own responsibility. I had a call last week from a viewer who paid $500 to a modification company. They never got her the modification. She lost her home, and you know, she was more upset about how to get her $500 back than about losing her home.
Well, because she trusted them.
She did, but you know what? Even if you hire someone, you need to stay on top of them, because you know what? If I'm going to hire someone like that, it's my home that's at risk, not their home. So it's really up to you to stay on top of it.
Well, and like you were saying, before you sign any documents, if you're not going to go through it line by line, because, folks, they can put anything into a contract, and if you miss just one line, who knows what you're signing. It's really worth the money to have an attorney look it over, as you were saying.
And guess what? Now's a great time to read your own loan documents. How many people, raise your hand if you read your documents at the closing table. There's no time for that. Now's a great time to take them out and read them.
Well, Shari, thank you so much. And as Shari mentioned, you can go to foreclosurenationthebook.com. You can also go to studio10.tv, and we're going to link you directly there, and you can buy the book. And this is a great, great way to get educated. So you can check off #1 on the golden rules.
Hey, let me ask you something else.
Sure.
Do you think you could cook a gourmet meal for under $7?
You know what? I would try, and I think it might be a nice thing to do for Holly's birthday.
That's right. Okay, so this is all going to work out. If you don't think you can cook a gourmet meal for under $7, think again. The Porsche